This is the Mid-American Conference on ESPN. What a picturesque football Saturday in late September, homecoming style, here at the campus of the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Great to have you along today. Joe Moorhead's got his Akron Zips in town as they roll into Glass Bowl Stadium against Jason Candle and the Toledo Rockets. Great to see all of you. Delighted you're here. Michael Regai with my partner, Ryan Cavanaugh. You want to win football games in the MAC? You better be able to run the rock. Both these football teams feel like they got that. Ryan will start with Toledo's Chip Trainum, and then, of course, Akron's Jordan Gant. They've both had strong performances here in the early going of the season.
Well, Chip Trainum in his first season with Toledo has played in a lot of big places, and he's carried that over. He's currently number 10 in the FBS in rushing, and a big reason is he's a home run hitter. Here's a 75-yard run against Western Kentucky. You're going to see a 63-yard run against Michigan, rather. But the difference for Trainum is he has the speed and power to run you over in addition to the vision and breakaway speed. When you combine those things, Michael, you have a real weapon coming out of the backfield. Akron has found somebody of their own coming out of the backfield. That's Jordan Gant. Breakout performance last week, 161 yards on the ground, enough to be named the MAC Player of the Week. He came into the season a little hobbled. He's close to 100%, and I look for Coach Moorhead to establish the ground game and do it with Jordan Gant.
A large factor in this one today could be, as we found out moments ago, that Akron starting quarterback, Ben Finley, is not going to go today. There you see, no pads, no helmet, we have not gotten a definitive word on why, but Ben Finley looks like he is not going to go today for the Akron Zips.
Well, Michael Johnson is the backup quarterback. He's played this year. We expect to see a heavy dose of Johnson, but in warm-ups, two other more passing-styled quarterbacks were warming up. So at this point, there's a big question mark as to who's going to be leading the Akron Zips offense.
Here's Joe Moorhead, the head football coach, who's done a very strong job in trying to revitalize this University of Akron Zips program. See the career numbers. And, of course, last year, he and his football team engineered that upset win in November over this gentleman, Jason Candle, the head football coach of the Toledo Rockets, now in his 11th season here. The former Mount Union Division III product, and of course those 75 wins, the most in program history. Settle back and enjoy it, everybody. Delighted you're here. Game on here at Glass Bowl Stadium. That short kick at the 20-yard line is going to be fielded by the Rockets' return man, and that's Bryson Hammer. Very strong kickoff return for Bryson Hammer. So Akron decided to do that pop-up kick, Ryan Cavanaugh, and Hammer said, I'm going to bring the hammer to you and make you pay.
You're trying to keep the ball away from Trayvon Rudolph, but if you're going to pooch it, you have to be able to cover it. And Hammer gets a crease, flips the field, and is knocking on the red zone of the Akron Zips.
That brings out Tucker Gleason. Gleason, as you see, 59% on the year. You see all the numbers, the 4 touchdown throws and the 3 picks. And a very candid Jason Candle told Ryan and I this week, it was not the best game that Tucker Gleason ever played in that loss. This first down call, head to the end zone. Junior Vandeross takes one snap. Vandeross from 28 yards out took that misdirection and got in the end zone. So the strong kickoff return. It takes one snap for Junior Vandeross to take it to the house on the ground. His first touchdown run of the year. Dylan Cunanan to try to add the PAT out of the hold of Emilio Duran. How about that? Just like that on a homecoming Saturday, the Midnight Blue and Gold of Toledo, they get their adoring fans up and at it early. And just that inside flip, Ryan Cavanaugh.
Perhaps the most dynamic player in the MAC with the ball in his hands. It's Junior Vandeross. This is what Tucker Gleason really likes, Reg, is this is a touchdown pass. The flip forward, let your receiver do the rest of the work. And that was outstanding by Junior Vanderos. Also, what really sprung that is the blocking on the edges by the wide receiver. Of course, Jacob Peterson, the big tight end, was out there. And that man has to be very pleased with how the Rockets have started this game.
Oh, those quarterbacks. They get all of the breaks go their way. So the inside flip is going to go in the books as a touchdown pass for Tucker Gleason. I'm jesting, of course, with that in mind. Maybe, though, the easiest touchdown throw that Tucker Gleason has had from the 4-yard line on this Akron Zips return. Not a bad return before getting pushed out of bounds. Is on that on that Akron return was Brandon Hills. Hills, 180-pound redshirt sophomore. Let's take a look at the all-22 at this TD for Junior Vanderos.
Trayvon Rudolph's on the outside. You see Peterson, and just the number of players getting on bodies on the outside. If you're going to play wide receiver in an offense, it's going to be highly successful. You not only have to be able to catch and do things after the catch with the football, you got to be able to block for your teammates. And Trayvon Rudolph did just that.
So there is Michael Johnson, the 5th-year senior. He's also played at Penn State, Florida Atlantic, and Syracuse as they go to the ground game on the first play of the afternoon for Akron. Jordan Gant got knocked down after a short game. So here's a good look at Michael Johnson. And again, if you're just joining us, Ben Finley, the starting Akron quarterback, not in helmet and pads today. We'll continue to try to see why he is not going. We did not get official word. The first throw of the afternoon from Michael Johnson. Marcel Williams hauls that in, but still going to bring up 3rd down and long. Let's call it 3rd down and long 8 here. Long 8, short 9 from the 29-yard line as Akron got hit with that first haymaker on just 1 snap from the Toledo touchdown. Trying to throw that middle screen. Pressure was coming on Michael Johnson, and the Akron Zips are going to go 3 and out.
Malachi Davis, number 93, does a nice job coming up the middle. That's because Toledo's showing 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. You never know who's going to come or who's going to go, but they did not have anybody blocking Malachi Davis. And if there's one guy on the defensive front you want to block in a passing situation, it's number 93.
Oh, Joseph Castle is the Akron punter. He's probably going to hit this from around the 20-yard line. Castle will hang it high. Fair catch being negotiated and hauled in by the Rockets' Bryson Hammer. So that'll get the offensive unit back out for the Toledo Rockets. It took them just 1 snap for them to get on the board for Tucker Gleason. I was saying, Jason Candle always very candid with us. He said his quarterback didn't play his best game ever in a Rocket uniform. They said, Candle told us there was just too many miscommunications from all 11 players, but he said, my quarterback, Tucker Gleason's got to help those other 10. Ground game again, 1st down call for Toledo. He wears the number 1, does Chip Trainum. Trainum went for 153 yards and a touchdown last week in that Toledo loss at Western Michigan. So moving the sticks, couple of big plays early on for this Toledo offense. Play action, Gleason. Now he's going to get out of that pocket. Makes that throw on the out cut, and they're saying that's hauled in. It is. Terrell Crosby Jr. makes that catch, and Jason Candle told us he's becoming much more consistent the way he practices, the way he plays. Nice catch there, keeping the feet in bounds.
Gleason did a good job breaking pocket. His offensive line gave him a lot of time. All around, a great play for that offense of Toledo.
Well, this Akron defense giving up 29 points a game. Stretch play in the run game. Not much there, though, for Chip Trainum. as Akron was able to get on that. That's Alex Branch, who wears that number 3. So Branch, and again defensively, Akron gives up 29 points a game to start the year. That is in the first 4 games. That's 6th in the MAC. And they want to try to be able to handle that run game a little bit better, Ryan, as they've given up 164 yards rushing to their opponents. 2nd and 10. Lot of time. Gleason going to throw that in route. Going up high to hold that in. How about that Terrell Crosby Jr. grab? Move the sticks, first down. Let me correct that. That's Trayvon Rudolph on that catch. Rudolph. Jason Candle said to us, we got to find ways to get Rudolph going. That's a good start.
He's a dynamic receiver, transfer from Northern Illinois. Part of it is Junior Vanderos has had such a great season, but a 1-2 punch, getting Rudolph involved would pay dividends for the Rockets offense.
So moving the sticks back to the ground game. Trainum got outside the numbers. Trainum with a burst got pushed out of bounds at the 11-yard line. They might put it at the 10-yard line. A couple of big plays early for Chip Trainum.
Look at the explosiveness on this jump cut, Michael. He feels the pressure behind him, but he's too quick, slipping out of tackles. He's so strong of a runner, and his feet are so quick. Trainum, I think, is a Sunday-type running back, and he's proven it right now through 4 games for the Rockets.
Off that quick play fake, Gleason gunned that throw outside. Making that grab is Junior Vanderos, but not much there. Good job by Akron out of that secondary, as up to make that hit for the Akron Zips. Looked to be Roderick Hunter, the redshirt freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. Let's look at this Jason Candle Toledo offense this year. First in the MAC in those 4 important categories. Over 400 yards a game, of course, the points per game. Rush yards at over 200 a game. And his Trainum through a hole. He's in the end zone. Touchdown. Chip Trainum. And Toledo, who have hit Akron with a couple of haymakers here in the first 5 minutes of football. Touchdown runs number 6 and 7 on the year for Chip Trainum, who has played at Arizona State, Ohio State, Kentucky, and now a Toledo Rocket. They're happy to have him. Second PAT of the early going, handled by Dylan Kunanen. Chip Trainum. Look at the blocks he got from that O-line to get in the end zone. 14-0 Toledo. 5 minutes in.
Good run game starts up front, and on this touchdown, you're going to see a combo block, a double team from center Anthony Boswell, 52, and Ethan Spot, the right guard. And then in the slot to the left is 81 Eric Holly. Comes across and gets a seal block. Trainum goes right off the butts of those three guys, keeps his balance, gets into the end zone, and the Rockets' run game was rolling on that drive.
Traveled 76 yards in just 7 snaps in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So I think suffice to say, if you're Joe Moorhead and the Akron Zips, only 5 minutes in, down by a couple of touchdowns, this is a very, very important drive. From the 5-yard line on that kick return, that scene closed up very, very quickly. It was Brandon Hills on the return. So, again, if you're just joining us, no Ben Finley today. Haven't been told exactly why their starting quarterback is not going, but Michael Johnson, the backup quarterback, got that start in the first series. Johnson, fifth-year senior out of San Jose, California, well-traveled. He's already played at Penn State, Florida Atlantic, and Syracuse. This his 4th Division I program, and this is Johnson, who got 4 yards as he kept the football. 6'3", 225 pounds, so he's got good size, but of course, right away, Ryan, you know, you get in, and his second series is, again, you look at the starting quarterback, Ben Finley, the young man out of Phoenix, Arizona, not dressed and going today. So, you know, not only you want to try to get Michael Johnson comfortable, but comes out for a second series, and you've already spotted Toledo 2 touchdowns and down 14-0.
Gives new meaning to playing from behind. But that'll help him out. Nice carry up the middle for Jordan Gant.
The defense set up one play, losing his helmet.
They're just telling us that Kavion Sherman lost his lid and has to come out. But Jordan Gant with a nice run up the middle. There's a Manuel McNeil Warren.
Oh, he's a good one.
Talk about Sunday playing guys. This guy has NFL written all over him, one of the leaders of this Rocket defense. They move him around a lot in the back half, Michael.
Yeah, well, he's one of the top cover guys, the safety position in all of Division I college football. Joe Moorhead not sure that quarterback Michael Johnson and the offense has what he wants here. And down 14-0, a very important 3rd down snap. Tailgating fun on a homecoming Saturday outside Glass Bowl Stadium. 14-0 Toledo. The Midnight Blue and Gold fans love that. Only 6 minutes into this football game. On a year ago, though, different story. Well, the Akron Zips played one of their best football games of the year. Ben Findlay hit a Marion Granger for that 72-yard TD to get Akron on top. Tucker Gleason responded. Jawan Newton, 19-yard TD to tie it at 14. Overtime, though, look at Ben Findlay hook up with Charles Kellum. 25-yard TD, Akron's on top, and then in overtime, look at that sack time work from the Akron D on Tucker Gleason on that 4th down as Akron racked up the big 21-14 win. First down carry on the ground for the Akron Zips.
Number 8 of the defense.
Jordan Gant on the call.
Losing his helmet.
Helmet just came off as that looked to be Martez Pointer, the Toledo defensive tackle. And that Jordan Gant carry just moved the sticks. So again, it is Michael Johnson. There he is, 6'3", 225-pound, fifth-year senior from San Jose, California. Akron, his 4th Division I FBS program. Play fake. Johnson got it off. Oh, he had it there. If his throw had more accuracy on it, he had Marcel Williams on that crossing route, who was running free, but Johnson threw it over his head.
Pretty good protection, and then there's Malachi Davis, who's coming off his best game as a Rocket from last week. He put a lot of pressure on Johnson from his right side, and the throw was hurried, and that may have played a role in the pass being not as accurate as Michael Johnson would have liked.
2nd and 10 now, 3 wideouts from Michael Johnson. Going to keep straight quarterback keep. Give him 3. Johnson got across the 35-yard line and got knocked down by that strong Toledo defensive front. Avery Dunn, who plays one of the defensive tackle spots, young man from Shaker Heights, Ohio, near Cleveland. He started his career at Avery Dunn as a Michigan State Spartan. 3rd down and 8. Big play on this, the 3rd possession. Offensively for the Akron Zips, as they're in a 14-0 hole here after a couple of Toledo touchdowns the first 2 times the Rockets had it. 3rd and 8, Michael Johnson. Gonna come middle. Excellent defensive play as that was broken up. Outstanding from Avery Smith.
You know, Michael, Toledo will line up with 6 guys on the line of scrimmage, usually drops them into coverage. This time they bring all 6, and look at the job. They may have brought 7, which means you're playing man-to-man. Credit the Akron offensive line to pick up all the pass rushers, but when you got defensive backs like Avery Smith and Dre Fuller on the corner, you can take chances like that up front.
So for the 3rd time here in the early going, Akron's going to have to punt the football away. Now trying to hang that high, returnable on the 22-yard line. Got a flag down late as Bryson Hammer again on that punt return for Toledo. Might be a block in the back, but we'll wait and see. Joseph Castle hung that punt up high. Rick Warney is a gentleman that wears a white hat today.
Legal block in the back. Return team, number 27. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
As expected, block in the back, says our white hat game referee Rick Warney. Jason Candle's football team has a 14-0 lead on Joe Moorhead and Akron. Don't go away. We're right back to Glass Bowl Stadium. Late July, those that cover the Mid-American Conference put together the preseason poll, and the Toledo Rockets were the expected and anticipated to win the Mid-American Conference this year. Of course, Miami and Ohio, two very strong programs, always in contention. Selected 2 and 3, the Buffalo Bulls, and head coach Pete Lembo, number 4. I was in Buffalo last week, Ryan, and the Bulls were surprised in the fourth quarter as they got beat by Troy. So they'll look to bounce back this week. Stay with the ground game. It went a bit of misdirection, and that was a Kenji Christian. Christian wears number 10, and Christian, a young man, and really he's a junior, but in his first season in this Rocket program, 6'2", 207 pounds. He's also played at Virginia Tech and North Carolina A&T. Transfer portal guy that Jason Candle brought in this year. 2nd and 10. Gleason, a lot of pressure. That throw got hauled in by Junior Vandeross, who tried to tightrope on this near sideline, but stepped on that white boundary at about the 20-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd down now.
Pretty good pass rush on the outside. It's Bruno Dahl, number 41, who's one of the more impactful players on this Akron Zips defense. But when you have a veteran like Tucker Gleason, he hangs in the pocket, is able to move, and whenever he's moving, I can promise you he's always going to look for number 2, Junior Vandeross, the security blanket, as I call it. As a former quarterback, when things get rough, you want to find your security blanket.
There's no doubt that's Gleason's guy. This is 3rd and 5 now. Pressure again from Akron. Now, Gleason's got to throw the football away. They tried to go to that tight end look to Jacob Peterson in that one-on-one.
I think they're setting up a screen. Look at how they let all the Zips in, and they Trainum was at the bottom, Michael, but unable to get there. Look at Chip Trainum, number 1, but he's covered. So Gleason then has to airmail it to the left. Good job by Akron's defense of identifying the screen and covering the back, slipping out in the flat.
It's a real good stop for Joe Moorhead's defense. Their defensive coordinator, Tim Tibesar, that runs the defense for Coach Moorhead. That's a real strong boot that is going to force Akron into that fair catch, but you see the flags fly as there was a little bit of contact there on Terrence Thomas. As Andrew Wilson Lamp, it looked like Wilson Lamp is the one that's going to get flagged, but we'll wait and see.
Yep, he's getting flagged and currently getting yelled at on the sidelines.
Catch interference. Kicking team, number 14. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Your over-exuberance, if you're a special teams guy, can get you yelled at.
That's
as
right.
you said.
Well, and look, Wilson Lamp, he's a backup defensive back started at WVU, then he went to ECU.
Wants
and
to make a play.
That's right.
An impression.
Look, when you're on the field, that's an opportunity to make an impression. That's an opportunity to let the coaches know, I need more playing time in between the whistles. And sometimes, as you pointed out, that exuberance is a little too much energy.
Let's see what Akron is able to do, down 14-0, but this is their best starting point of what is now their 4th drive of this opening quarter. The backup quarterback going today, Michael Johnson Jr., the 5th-year senior out of San Jose, California. Straight quarterback run. How about the outstanding takedown as Toledo defensively got on that as for the Rockets jumping in to make that stop was Chris DePolonia, the Mike linebacker, real good hitter.
And you mentioned Avery Dunn a couple times. He's not going to get credit for the sack, Dap will, but Avery Dunn's pass rush forced Johnson up into the pocket, and as he tried to slip away, DePolonia came off his block with the shoestring tackle. Akron once again behind the chains on 2nd down.
Defensive coordinator Vince Karras, very effusive in his discussion with us about Apollonia. Michael Johnson just turned right back into that sack of Jeremiah Peters, the 230-pound senior out of Miami, Florida. Sack time for him and the Rockets.
You see Peters working on the left against, I believe it's Allen Jones. It is the left side of the defense. So quick with his feet and effective with his hands. Second sack of the season for Jeremiah Peters. And he's more of a spot player on this defense as we take a look at Vince Karras. This is one of the best defensive coordinators in the MAC, maybe in the country.
It's tremendous.
I mean, Toledo right now is at the top in virtually every category defensively. And that's not special to 2025. It's almost every year when Vince Karras is calling the defense. His defense is ranked extremely high, if not at the top of the conference.
They're number one in 5 different categories, and you can see some of the issues that the backup quarterback, Michael Johnson, is having. Joe Moorhead. Joe Moorhead, I will tell you, Joe Moorhead's one of the finest offensive creativity coaches, and finding production out of his offense. But Johnson got hit with a delay of game now. This is 3rd and to Bowling Green, which is about 17 miles away to the south down I-75. So Joe Moorhead kind of at 3rd and 27.
55, the defense must set out 1 play.
Not going to put the football in harm's way with Michael Johnson, and the Akron Zips are going to have to punt it away again as they will get Joseph Castle on the football field. So there's a tutorial for Joe Moorhead. You've been in a couple of those in your day. And before Michael Johnson goes over with the offense, the head coach says, wait a minute, stay here for a second.
You never want to hear that. You never want to hear that.
Going to get a good tail wag on that. Well, picking the football up on a couple of hops and coming back with a solid 14-yard return is Bryson Hammer. Akron looked like they had him up for grabs, but weren't able to. If you just joined us, this is how Toledo got on the board twice in the early going. That touchdown from Junior Vandeross, Ryan. And then the running back, Chip Trainum, to the end zone.
Everything was working early. Akron defensively forced a punt on the last drive, as you can see there. 3-and-out punt, but it has been almost all roses for Chip Trainum and the Toledo Rockets offense.
Trainum is offset to the left of quarterback Tucker Gleason, who's going to gun that quick out. Excellent job coming up off that corner as Gleason put it on his receiver. And for the Rockets making that catch, that's Christian Kenji, a running back. Kenji Christian, let me flip that around. Running back who was out in the slot. There's Christian, Kenji Christian. 210-pounder. Gleason makes that touch throw, and he put it on Vandeross beautifully, who made that catch before stepping out of bounds right in front of his head coach Jason Kendall at the 48-yard line. That's 21 yards. Sweet touch throw from Tucker Gleason.
Well, I just don't know how he gets that wide open. I mean, nobody is around Vandeross on the flag route. I know they ran play action the other way, but of all people, number 2, Junior Vandeross, is somebody that you have to identify where he's at and make sure you got a guy covering him.
Eric Holly in motion. Gleason going to stay with a passing game. Oh, he's feeling it, isn't he? He delivered that dart to Junior Vandeross again. Vandeross hauled it in. Finally got pulled down out of that Akron secondary. And making that hit for the Akron Zips in that secondary was DeMarco Johnson.
Vandeross did a nice job of climbing the ladder, going up and securing the football, and that is what we call a much-deserved break for Junior Vandeross.
He's off to a real good start. Young man who came into today with 22 catches. Back to the ground game. Look at Trainum lowering the pads. How about the blocks of Ethan Spoff and Cole Rett? Right side of that offensive line for Toledo. Got a good push and got it opened up beautifully for running back Chip Trainum.
Those are 2 of the returning starters. Carter Foudy as well. Stephen Gales, a left tackle, started a couple games last year, but Rhett and Spath are two of the veterans.
Yeah, they really are. Train them. Not a lot of space. Then he lowered the pads and got taken down by DeMarco Johnson. Johnson on that hit. He is really coming on. Ben Akron's starter at a corner, now a fifth-year senior, young man from South Carolina. One of the real fine secondary tacklers that we have in the Mid-American Conference. Second down, train him again. Got outside the numbers. Oh, that might have been a touchdown saving tackle, as coming up to make that hit of Trainum off that corner for Akron. It looked like it was Mekhi Flowers, who started his career at Penn State.
Michael, look at the patience of Trainum. Look, he just hangs out behind his offensive lineman and then explodes. And if Flowers wasn't there to trip him up, Trainum may have had another touchdown, but you have to be a veteran to run with that level of patience.
Van der Ross in motion. Now trying to cut through that crease again was the backup running back. That's his Kenji Christian. Good size, Ryan, 210-pound junior. Birmingham, Alabama. As we said, this is his third program. Also played at Vatech and North Carolina A&T. 15 minutes in the books. Everybody in midnight blue and gold loving it. Junior Van der Ross into the end zone. Chip Trainum in the end zone. Toledo has got a 14-0 lead, and they're on the move again. Second quarter next. And make sure now that you get every bit of ESPN college football at your disposal, all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan. You can log on with your TV provider. Hope you're enjoying this one as we head to quarter number 2. Ryan Cavanaugh is here. I'm Michael Regai, all of our terrific ESPN crew. And for the Midnight Blue and Gold of the Toledo Rockets on a homecoming Saturday, they feel real good about the first 15 minutes of football, and they're on the move again inside the red zone for quarterback Tucker Gleason. Back to the ground game. Backup running back Kenji Christian. Again, this is his third FBS program. Ryan, those numbers kind of tell you the whole story, don't they?
Well, both teams are having unusual days offensively. Akron only 5 yards, and Toledo with 172 first quarter offensive yards. Incredible. Only 1 first down for Akron compared to 10 for Toledo. That might even be more eye-popping.
Tucker Gleason going to go with that late pitch. Excellent defensive play there for Akron as pushing Kenji Christian out of bounds for the Zips with some strong pressure that looked like it was Cyrus Durham. It was Durham.
Defense, number 41, lined up in the
Now they got Dahl offsides.
first down.
You know,
Durham's strong play isn't going to hold up, though, is it?
No, they got Bruno Dahl offsides, lined up in the neutral zone. Interesting play call to run that option. Just a straight drive option to the boundary, the short side of the field, because it looked like Kenji Christian would have, if there were more green space between him and the sideline, he would have the opportunity to turn it up.
Football got spotted at the 3-yard line for Tucker Gleason. Train him. Football's out. Akron says they got it. How about that defensive play that came from Ronald Hull? Hull wears number 5, and there's Ronald Hull. Yeah, celebrate, big fella. Hull, the 310-pound sophomore, he just ripped that football away from Chip Trainum.
Defense,
Turnover. Toledo, Bruno Dahl on the
half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Did they get a penalty on?
They're in the neutral zone again.
Wow, they got a penalty on the Akron Zips again. That's going to negate this terrific defensive strip of the football, and then recovery.
And you see it's on the far side, Michael. It's not Hull in the middle, but look at number 5. We're going to take another peek here. You get good pressure from Javon Frazier, and there's number 10 on the outside who's lined up in the neutral zone. That's Cyrus Durham. But look at number 5, Ron Hull gets to Trainum on the back, rips the football loose. Trainum may have been down there also. It was late. It's all academic now because it's first down.
From the 2-yard line, back to the ground game, and it's the quarterback, Tucker Gleason, off that good play fake in the house. Easily. Touchdown, Gleason and Toledo for Tucker Gleason, his second rush touchdown of the year.
Really nice job. It's the first time we've seen Gleason keep the football. And they've been tenderizing the inside of the interior line of Akron's defense with Christian and Trainum. And that's all to set it up for Tucker Gleason to keep the football and take it outside.
245-pound senior quarterback, 75 yards in 10 plays, all negotiated and run by Tucker Gleason, who finished it off. All Toledo here in the first half on a homecoming Saturday at Glass Bowl Stadium. 21-0 Rockets.
Michael, we talked on this touchdown run about Akron, or Toledo rather, setting it up with the heavy run game. This time they're going to train him right through here. They're going to bring Holly this way, who takes out the only defender, and finally Gleason comes right up. But you'll see, first they fake it to Holly. Holly rather, 81 takes his receiver out. That's the only defender that could have got Gleason, and Gleason fouls him untouched into the end zone. And you know, he's still using the 1980 telephone on the sidelines. Why is that there?
I don't know about that, but what I do know is watching Toledo Rocket football for about 4 decades, that has always been, you misdirect the tight end, you cross him across the formation, and then you run the football behind that. And that's something that, there's your phone you're talking about. Huh?
So for kids at home, you actually have to press those buttons to call somebody, and then you pick up the other part, which is in fact connected to that square device, and that's how you talk to people. We don't even need to get into the rotary dial, Michael.
Oh my. Oh my, yes. I could give you a tutorial on that from back in the 60s.
Man.
And I was a kid in the 60s.
Yeah,
okay?
no.
I wasn't an adult.
No,
really, but
I thought you heard about
it
it from the 60s. That's how I interpreted that.
No, I recall it as a kid, as a youngster.
I don't go that far back, but I do know payphones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I remember how important it was when you got the cordless phone. Like, it was cool, man. Like, I could walk around my house. I don't have to stand next to that device that we just showed. Anyway.
Back to Michael Johnson, this backup quarterback who's getting the call today. Now, flag goes down as Jordan Gant. And again, we featured Gant in the opening today of our show. The young man from
face mask, defense, number 3.
From Tennessee State. And again, Gant ran the football wonderfully well last week in the Akron 51-7 belting of Duquesne. Gant, 161 yards, 3 touchdowns, and averaged over 12 a carry.
Well, this guy, Coach Vince Karras, was very aware of that game that Gant had. Also, Sean Patrick, who we haven't seen, he was a game-time decision, another running back for the Zips. And Vince Karras was really planning on shutting this run game down, which he's been pretty effective. His Rockets have been outstanding as we see another short gain and a swarm of Rockets bringing him down.
Yeah, Johnson put that on Gant for the completed pass. You see Andre Fuller? He wears number 3. Jason Candle told us he has been playing just tremendous football. Vince Karras told us too, he contests and challenges each and every play, and when your offensive coordinator is saying that about you, you gotta love it. Andre Fuller, there he is, the senior out of Loxahatchee, Florida. Pressure again, just nowhere to go for quarterback Michael Johnson. That was Malachi Davis. He came up on the Toledo hit.
Davis is going to come from the left of your screen, working on Jamie Motley Simmons, and just too much. You see Brandon Alls, the safety, coming up as well. So Vince Karras feels comfortable with the gentleman you mentioned, Andre Fuller, along with Avery Smith, his 2 corners, to start bringing pressure, putting those guys on islands. And Ben Finley, not a whole lot he can do on the sidelines.
3rd and 17 now for Michael Johnson. Got to make a play. He threw the out, wasn't held on to as he was trying to hit wide receiver Israel Polk. And Michael Johnson and the Akron offense, you got 2 things going on here. Ryan Cavanaugh didn't get a lot of reps this week. Well, you and I always talk about a backup quarterback, and Tuesday, Wednesday, the heavy days, maybe gets about 10 to 15% of the offensive snaps, if that.
Yeah, it's not
rough deal.
Right. There's not a whole lot of snaps you're getting, and when you are, you're not getting them with the ones.
Exactly.
And they just punted it off the back of one of the personal protectors.
Yeah, now going to pick up that football is Braden Johnson. So the Zips are saying Johnson, after picking up the football, was able to move the sticks for a first down. Now let's see. Depend on where they spot that. So Braden Johnson, the graduate transfer.
The ruling on the field is a fumble that went out of bounds. The ball will return to the 50-yard line, short of the line to gain. First down, Toledo.
Sada didn't get it because he lost control of the football. And there, look at the look of disbelief.
Johnson thought he was there.
Sure did.
Obviously, as he stepped out of bounds, thinking that he had, with the reach of the football, thinking he achieved the line to gain to keep the drive alive.
Yeah, I don't think it's at the 50, but I don't know that he got to the first down sticks. But, you know, I was going to say, sometimes it's better. Yeah, they're going to review this. You know, Michael, when his knee goes down, it's around the 49.
Yeah.
But the ball's extended past the 50 now. Does he get to the Toledo Rockets 49 or not? I'm not sure.
Well, regardless if he did or didn't, give the young man credit, the punter. That's a real sweet ad lib to try to get out of a real bad way and keep a drive alive.
Yep. So you could see the knee goes down about there, and where's the football? And he's also important when we get the closer up look, Michael, is that as the football is being extended, it slips out of his hands. And that's why it was ruled a fumble. So there's a couple things. We're going to really put the replay crew to work here. When does the knee go down? Where's the football before the knee goes down? And where is the football when it slips out of his hands? You got all that?
I got it. You got. I'm with you, partner. You got a lot of things going on. I understand it. I understand it all, and I think you explained it pretty well too.
I appreciate
Good
that.
job.
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down for Toledo.
Braden Johnson not quite able with that reach of the football before he hit the white boundary to move the sticks, and now once again right from the midfield stripe. So really advantageous starting field position for Toledo. And if you're Akron, you're down 21-0, still in the early stages of quarter number 2. They got to find a way to get a stop on this drive. Plain and simple. We'll see if Tucker Gleason and the Rockets offense has other ideas. Play fake. Gleason coming middle. How about that grab? Outstanding grab from Eric Holly. Holly, young man from Akron, Ohio, East High School. Well, Gleason better go give a dap up to Holly, because he put that football was nowhere near where it should have been, and Holly made a terrific grab.
He was back behind him, but that's what really sticking with the football. Watching the carom, keeping your eyes on it and bringing it in.
Gleason again out of motion, going to give the football to that receiver who did motion, Trayvon Rudolph. Rudolph, the senior from the state of Illinois, started his career at Northern Illinois from here in the MAC.
Beautiful acrobatic catch by Eric Holly. And Rudolph going to that last play, somebody that Coach Candle understands they need to get involved in the offense. So I look with the 21-point lead, Michael, they look like they're interested in throwing the football now. I look for them to try to get the ball to Rudolph and get some rhythm and momentum between Gleason and Rudolph.
Tight formation. Kenji Christian, the one back. Look at the time. Gleason, the play fake. Vandeross has got it. He's in the end zone. Junior Vandeross. Touchdown, Toledo.
Sometimes when it's going good, it's going great. And Junior Vandeross is putting on a show. Nice job by Gleason. He sees the crossing route. He understands that Vandeross is going to clear behind Dull, who dropped into pass coverage from his defensive end position. Patiently waits while his offensive line protects him and drops the ball perfectly into the hands of Vandeross.
Another PAT handled by Dylan Kunanen. Tucker Gleason just delivered a dart to Junior Vandeross, and Vandeross as you see, running free in that Akron secondary. Toledo's got a very strong 28-0 lead on Akron. And who came into today with 4 touchdowns on the receiving side. Just added another one to build the Toledo lead to 28-0. Great to have you along, Michael Regai, Ryan Cavanaugh, and all of our ESPN crew. Ryan only took 3 snaps to go 50 yards, and again, Junior Vandeross always at the forefront of what the Toledo pass game is all about.
Well, they've scored 14 points on 4 plays if you take the last possession and the first possession combined.
Robert Hammond to drive that kick deep into the end zone, one of those non-returnable varieties. Good to see that gentleman here. Andrew Hawkins recognized today at Glass Bowl Stadium. Former Toledo wide receiver, 2004 to 2007. Hawkins played a little bit defense too here in Toledo. First one to do that in 48 years. 6 seasons here in Ohio in the NFL, both as a Cincinnati Bengal and Cleveland Brown. He's probably hear him as an ESPN NFL analyst. He's on NFL Live, Get Up, Sports Center, First Take. Good to see that man, Andrew Hawkins, back here at Glass Bowl Stadium today. I'm sure he's happy about the 4 touchdowns here in the first 20 minutes of football. Michael Johnson trying to start to get some flow and rhythm into this offense for the Akron Zips, as he was able to hook up with Kyan Mason, a young man from St. Edward High School, the strong program in Lakewood, Ohio, near Cleveland. 2nd and 5 for Johnson. Going to go back to the ground game. A little bit of space for running back Jordan Gant. Gant, the MAC Offensive Player of the Week. A young man out of Lakeland, Florida. Had a real strong season. He's averaging better than 7 yards a carry with 3 touchdowns coming into today. Head coach Joe Moorhead telling us really likes the ascent and the progression of of his running back, Jordan Gant. Gant again on 3rd down and short. It's going to depend on the spot. Yeah, and line judge is telling the chain gang, come on, move the sticks. 1st down, Akron.
Coming to this game, Joe Moorhead wanted to play with tempo and mix the pass and the run. And he said he was pleased but not satisfied with the run up to this point. And that's coming on the heels of, you know, a performance against Duquesne where they rushed for 265 yards. Now, this is a different animal, this Toledo defense, but this is what, if you want to run the football, what Coach Moorhead is doing here is what you have to do, which is continue to stay with it. And not abandon it when things aren't going well. And that
That's
time,
right. Yep.
4 yards on 1st down, 5 yards for Jordan Gant.
All right. They gave him 5 officially, so 2nd and 5. And I think Joe Moorhead is also saying, we're going to, fellas, we need to run the football and keep the defense over here with me and the coaches here to let them get a blow and try to get themselves regrouped. Johnson pulled the football down. 1st down, Michael Johnson to the midfield stripe. So he looked like he wanted to put that up, and thus that was just all window dressing to run that quarterback draw.
No, they had trips to the bottom of the screen and they popped one of the receivers out, but it was jumped by Toledo. It was well scouted, and it was a good decision by Johnson not to throw it, or it might have been 6 the other way. But sometimes, even when the defense does the right thing, you can get hurt by a broken play, and that's what happened with Johnson running the football. Here it is again.
Well, they showed that inside handoff to running back Jordan Gant. Michael Johnson pulled it out of his midsection and got 7. So this is the most efficient drive of the 4 that Joe Moorhead's offense has put on display here today.
Definitely the best drive. It's been primarily on the ground, and Johnson, I think Johnson has to leave the field. Seeing some conversation. Oh,
now they're going to review for a potential targeting there.
Yeah, Johnson came over and was talking to the official, and he was pushing to the side. I didn't know he was telling him to take the entire offense to the side, because Johnson was the only one making his way from our view from the booth here. Now,
so of course this will be reviewed for the potential target. Let's see. And there it is, as Michael Johnson was hit from the side, and that looked to be, is that linebacker? I don't want to say, it might have been Doran Ray Jr.
It's Chris Dapolonia.
Dapolonia, okay.
Yeah, there's Dap coming in. What they're looking for here, is it the crown of the head? Where are his eyes is the key for that. And to me, it looks like his eyes are facing the grass. And helmet-to-helmet contact. You know, interesting comments this week from Vince Karras as we take another look at this. Kavion Sherman and Chris Dapolonia are both just tremendous linebackers. And coming into the season, it was the first time they started. But in Coach Karras' opinion, if you turn on the film, you'd never know they had not started for this Rockets defense before. That's how high of a level they're playing. Now, in a game where you're up 4 scores, midway through the 2nd quarter, the last thing you want to do is lose a player like Dapolonia, which would also put him out for a half against Bowling Green, correct?
Yes, yes.
So that's impactful, not only for this game, but for the next one. And you see Coach Karras.
After review, there's no targeting on the play. 2nd down.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief from Vince Karras and Chris Dapolonia. And that guy too. I'm sure Jason Candle is very pleased that his star linebacker is not taken out of this football game.
Joe Moorhead maybe wants a little bit of a further explanation there. And yeah, Jason Candle likes that. Next week for these Toledo Rockets, a trip down I-75 to tangle with their natural rivals. Head coach Eddie George and the Bowling Green Falcons at Bowling Green next Saturday. Back to the ground game. Excellent gap being opened up there for that Akron ground game for Marquise Williams. That's Williams, who transferred to Akron from Minnesota. He's got the most speed in that Akron backfield, and that first carry of the afternoon, and moves the sticks. First down, Akron. Over the 35-yard line at Toledo. Stay with Marquise Williams. This time he got knocked down before he could get rolling. Coming up off the bottom of that stack for Toledo. As making that hit was Sean Carter. Carter from Martin Luther King High School in the Motor City of Detroit. That's a real strong public school league program in the D, as it's known.
That's true. Yeah, Marquise Williams, two plays and 2 carries.
2nd and 9 now for Michael Johnson, who wants to put it up. Johnson going to throw that deep out. And on a 7 route as he was looking for the shot for Cameron Montero, the redshirt freshman wideout.
Safety Nasir Bowers in coverage. Johnson was, but you talked about it earlier, Michael, without getting the reps with the number 1s as much as you'd like. You know, he's throwing a 7 route somewhere, and Montero is running his 7 route somewhere else.
Might not be anywhere near the same composition of such, right?
And that's why when quarterbacks try out for the combine, or for coaches before the combine, they bring their own receivers.
Right. Johnson back to the ground game, just nothing there as Jordan Gant got knocked down right away. Is in on that hit for Toledo was outside backer Anthony Dunn. His first solo tackle of the day.
Great job by Dunn playing off the block. It's 4th and long, a little bit of no man's land here, but Michael Johnson and this offense are going to stay on the field.
You got to pick up 11. This line to make, and the sticks are at the 25-yard line of Toledo. Starting quarterback Ben Finley for Akron looking on. 4th down and 11. Johnson stepping up middle. It is hauled in. First down, making that catch was Kyan Mason. And how about that dart that Michael Johnson delivered there?
Best pass of the afternoon for Johnson, and he has an unconventional sidearm type delivery. We saw that in warm-ups, Michael. This time, while it doesn't look traditional for quarterbacks, very effective as he's able to hit the speedster Kyan Mason crossing the middle.
Well, Michael Johnson's got his Akron offense approaching the red zone now. And they get a fresh set of downs. Not much there for Jordan Gant. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage before he got submerged in on that Toledo stop once again. From that defensive tackle spot was Martez Pointer. Got some help from Anthony Dunn. No gain, 2nd and 10. As we're inside 4 minutes left in the first half. Akron, points are mandatory here. Trailing by 28. Latter stages of this first half. Johnson trying to get outside the numbers. He did so. Johnson with a late push from Chris DePolonia. See where they spot that. I think it's going to be spotted right about the 15-yard line, which is going to bring up 3rd down and 4 now.
Officials timeout for an injured player in the offense.
One of the offensive linemen is down on the field.
And it looks like Keelan Davis, who's getting a start at right. Yeah, it is Davis. Got the start at right guard today.
It's interesting talking to Coach Joe Moorhead this week. There he is, right on cue. Nice work, guys. But he was talking about his offensive line, and little uncharacteristic in the sense that they're rotating 9 different players in at those first 5 spots. You mentioned Keelan Davis is getting the start at right guard. That bumped Alan Jones, who was their starting right guard, out to right tackle. But you got Masai King playing there. And it's not just that they're backups. Every team has backups. These are rotational players. And generally, Michael, what you have with an offensive line to establish that level of continuity is 5 players. Maybe one guy rotates in, but your 5 starters are rolling unless something happens like an injury or losing a helmet. But for Akron, I think they're trying to find the special sauces, the special combination of players to help them out.
Well, that's why we were saying that this drive, very important to drive, to try to put points on the board, has started to find a little bit of flow, some rhythm for that man, Michael Johnson, backup quarterback. For Joe Moorhead, Ben Finley, the starter, not going today. And again, if you're just joining us, we were not given a direct reasoning for why Ben Finley did not start the football game today, and pretty much looks like he's not going to go. They showed that misdirection reverse, flag out. Could be a late hit there as Michael Johnson kept the football. I think we're going to get flags on both football teams here, as that play is going to be negated, as Braden Alls put a real late shot on Michael Johnson for Toledo, and Johnson is still down.
Johnson's down. We now see Braden Rogo, another quarterback from Tiffin Columbian High School here in Ohio, not far from here, warming up on the field. And I believe that was a late hit by Brandon Alls for safety.
It was, without question.
There's a thumbs up from Johnson.
But he's going to have to come out for at least one play.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 against each team. Holding. Offense, number 77. After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 6. Both fouls will be enforced. Automatic first down.
Or did Johnson's helmet not come off?
I don't think his helmet came off, but if there was a penalty associated with it. Yeah, Johnson, his helmet didn't come off.
Well, Alls' hit, too, is on that white boundary, a good 3 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, and I you know, when there's a penalty associated with it, you don't lose your eligibility for that play. So Johnson is going to stay in there. You saw him give the thumbs up. Brandon Alls is staying in the game, too.
So all of that leads us to this. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line for backup quarterback, started today, Michael Johnson Jr. Straight quarterback draw. Toledo's D having none of that. In coming up to make that hit for the Rockets, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He also had some help from Avery Dunn, the D tackle.
Look at Warren getting underneath. Dunn playing off the edge. Beautiful job by both those guys. This Toledo defense plays with a lot of fire, a lot of energy, getting hats to the football.
2nd and 12 as we take a look at those 4 categories I was mentioning earlier. The Toledo defense leads the MAC into the end zone from Michael Johnson. That throw is off the hands of wide receiver Cameron Montero. There's Montero.
They just set the game clock to 2:10.
Montero, the young man from Brockton, Mass.
Yeah, you talked about their defense, Michael. This is so impressive. Holding teams to under 15 points a game with the schedule that they've had and only 14 first downs a game. This is, at this stage of the season, the best defense in the MAC. And they're proving it once again on the field this afternoon.
Well, the most they've given up this year is in that opener at Kentucky. A lot of problems there for that Akron offense is Malachi Davis. There's Davis. Where's number 93 as he was able to get all over Marquise Williams trying to run the football. All right, we're at that 2-minute timeout here in quarter number 2. Take a look at that hit from Malachi Davis. Old Toledo. 2 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Busy Saturday around the Mid-American Conference. The Ohio Bobcats with a Peden Stadium home win as they take down the Bowling Green Falcons by 15. Central Michigan and a battle of the Wolverine State beat Eastern Michigan 24-13. Buffalo's at home against UConn, non-conference. They're tied. Northern Illinois 3-3 with San Diego State, and the others going on in the map. Right here, 28-0. Toledo on this 4th and 18. 39-yard field goal attempt as Akron looks to get on the board. Plenty of distance and putting that through the uprights and connecting. The Akron Zips. Joseph Castle on that make? Yeah, it was Castle who checked that. Owen Wiley who hit that field goal, the young man from Avon Lake High School. So Joe Moorhead asking his field goal team to get some points on the board for them, and they did just that. Good drive from Akron. Wanted 7, of course. Will take the 3. More importantly, they moved the football for close to 6 minutes.
There you go, 18 plays, 54 yards, time of possession. I mean, that was the best they've looked. But in fairness, it's been a pretty rough start. As you pointed out, Ben Finley had no indication he was not going to go until they came out to warm up, and we noticed he was absent, then out in his jersey. So all that to say, we didn't know when, and we don't know when Michael Johnson found out he was going to be taking over. Another short pooch kick.
Yeah, that pop-up kick, the 25-yard line, as Toledo got that kicking game return from.
A lot of electricity here. Started the game on the first offensive play. Junior Vanderos takes it into the end zone. That was the first what would be many big-time plays. Wide open for a second touchdown. Vanderos has shown why he is perhaps the best wide receiver in the MAC. 6 catches, 93 yards, and another touchdown. That gives him 5 touchdowns on the seat. 2 touchdowns he has.
And he's closing in on 2,000 yards in his career here as a Toledo Rocket that he's combined. Gleason on that roll right. Came back middle. Guess who? Right on time to Junior Vanderos. So Vanderos piles up more yardage. Plenty of time for this Toledo offense.
Vanderos
and they've got all 3 timeouts at their disposal too. Gleason gonna take a shot middle, and that is hauled in by Jacob Peterson, the big tight end. And you know, it's funny, Ryan, you appreciate this. Tucker Gleason has not really been on target today at throwing receivers open where they can make plays after the catch.
Right. That
They
was
bailed him out, his receiving corps, quite honestly, at least 3 times here. And Gleason now showing his strength there, this 245-pound quarterback. Not trying to criticize him, Ryan, but stating a fact. He's had guys running free that he's missed with throws that did not allow them for run after catch.
Yeah, that was a good example there from Peterson. The ball's around, but frankly, very lucky that Peterson was able to bring that down.
All that having been said, kudos to that young man. He's 13 of 14 for 195 yards. Again, just trying to say, if his normal accuracy was here today, he'd have more. He'd have a lot more.
You sound like a coach, Michael. You know?
Do I?
Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty.
I guess you're saying that's not a good thing.
No.
To avoid the 2-second runoff, Toledo is taking their first charge timeout.
Well, it's funny because
what
again,
I'm saying is it's a search for excellence.
I got
what
you.
it is. You know, because when you look at Jason Candle, you could look at those numbers and say, okay, but we would have had 300 yards passing perhaps, or more.
Yeah. All right, we'll continue this as we come back. 42 ticks left in the first half. Toledo on the move with a 25-point lead. lot of the Little Rockets wearing their midnight blue and gold, enjoying today. Coming up at halftime here out of Glass Bowl Stadium, a new field turf that we'll show you and tell you about. And of course, all the numbers and pictures from the first half of football. That's coming up at halftime. 42 ticks left. Toledo still playing with a couple of timeouts, should they like to take them. Blitz coming. Gleason stepped through it and now is going to dump down. And that catch, I believe they're calling that a catch. Junior Vandeross again made the grab. Clock at 34 seconds now, and this is going to bring up a third down, and we'll call it about 6. The line to make here is at the 22-yard line of Akron. Toledo's lead is 25 points. They're looking for more. Well, they marked that football at the 26, so 3rd and 4. Gleason gonna gun that throw. That's hauled in, making that grab. Holly is heading to the end zone. Did he get in? He did. Eric Holly. Terrific run after the catch. Touchdown, Toledo. The senior hurting his hometown team. A young man from Akron East High School playing for Toledo, Eric Holly.
There's flags on the field afterwards because Eric Holly, perhaps some of that youthful exuberance you were talking about, spiked the football. And immediately every official in the area threw their flags. But I don't know that Holly cares right now. That was a terrific effort, breaking tackles, getting in the end zone.
Six of the 7 on-field officials talking about this. The white hat referee Rick Warning.
The play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 81 and offense number 4 for taunting. That's the first of the game toward ejection. Those fouls will be enforced on a kickoff.
Well, Jason Kendall is hot as he walks back toward his Rockets bench, and I think he's hot at both that man, Eric Holly, and quarterback Tucker Gleason.
Here's the spike.
So there's the first flag.
Here you go.
Now, how about Gleason? What was he doing? Taunting, in terms of verbal taunting? It's all going to be enforced on that kickoff. Adding the PAT is Dylan Cunanan. The lead balloons to 35-3. I mean, a terrific catch and head to the house from Eric Holly III. Well, now initially they said the 2 flags for both Holly, and they gave Tucker Gleason's number as well, number 4.
Yeah, and I don't.
So I'm not sure what the cause was for Gleason. Maybe something we did not see on camera.
Just at the end there, Michael, you saw him turn, and I believe it was the Akron sideline, and he was gesturing at them. But as you said, it could have been some verbal we didn't hear. Coach Kendall still not pleased about this.
Well, look where his football team, Jason Kendall, is going to kick the football off from. You don't see this often.
No.
The 10-yard line after 2 15-yard personal fouls on the Toledo Rockets. Well, how about this howitzer of a shot? Wow. Drilling that 90 yards with the roll to get into the end zone. Robert Hammond, he's getting all the attaboys. Hammond just drilled that kickoff 90 yards plus.
Take a look at the celebration from Hammond. People are like, yeah, it was a great kick, and it really was. And if you were, if you're Akron, that's the one thing you can't let happen is the kick goes over your head. It's like playing center field in baseball. You can always come up on the ball.
That's right.
It's more difficult to go back.
Yep. 23 seconds left. Akron has what? The Zips have 2 timeouts if they want them. There's your answer to that. They are going to just kneel the football out. 2 teams heading to their respective quarters. Joe Moorhead taking a good look, but he's got a lot of work to do. Jason Kendall and the Toledo Rockets with a 35-3 halftime lead over the Akron Zips. So it's been all Toledo in this first 30 minutes of football. Tucker Gleason and Junior Banderos have led the charge for the Midnight Blue and Gold of Toledo. 35-3 at halftime over Akron. Halftime here at Glass Bowl Stadium in Toledo, Ohio, between the Toledo Rockets and the Akron Zips. Today is the 3rd home football game of the year for Toledo, and the 3rd time they're playing on brand new field turf here at their home, Glass Bowl Stadium. The installation of the new playing surface took planning, patience, and perseverance.
Typically, the fields outdoors, synthetic turf fields, have an 8 to 10 year lifespan, and depends on where you're at geographically. So we were on the year 9. We played last season. That was season 9. Even though you're maintaining it, we maintain it continually throughout the year. You know, it starts to get a little compacted, and then the fibers start laying down. It was time to replace the turf. We started on March 10th. It took them a total of 27 working days. First part of the process is coming in and demoing the field. So with that though, we also recycled the existing infill. That was the first part of the process, getting it down to stone. After the turf's all up, they come in and they make sure the grade is where it should be. Then a next crew comes in and starts sewing in the panels, the actual turf. After they're done, just the turf's in, so you don't have any infill in it. Then they have an inlay crew come in, and they come in and put all the numbers, the midfield logo. Well, we wanted to integrate the Toledo logo, which is another logo that we use around the department, to integrate that into the midfield logo portion, just to say, hey, we're Toledo.
Our goal as athletic trainers is to keep players healthy and on the field. With this new turf, it provides a safer surface that both optimizes performance and reduces the likelihood of injury. So I'd say that's a huge win for our athletes, our coaches, and us as athletic trainers.
Field turf is, like I said, it's new, but it's also in a lot of NFL stadiums and college stadiums throughout the country. So it's been a proven product.
Don't go away. When we get back, we're going to take a look at some of the big matchups next weekend in the Mid-American Conference. That's next. Downtown Toledo's landscape looking real good on the banks of the Maumee River as we get set for the Akron Zips and the Toledo Rockets. Now next Saturday, coming up on ESPN+, the Western Michigan Broncos head into Amherst, Massachusetts to tangle with UMass. Ryan, you and I will be at Infocision Stadium in Akron when Central Michigan comes in.
And these are two teams that I believe are on the rise and both have an opportunity to make some noise in the MAC. And for Akron, after leaving the Glass Bowl here this afternoon, heading home, they love playing at Infocision.
Eastern Michigan and Buffalo and Miami in Northern Illinois. Coming up, we'll see more of the second half, what transpired in the first half. That's all next here on ESPN. Very strong first 30 minutes of football for the homestanding Toledo Rockets. They got it started with Junior Vandeross heading to the end zone, and this just began their offensive onslaught, Ryan.
Well, there was a little bit of everything from a lot of guys. Tucker Gleason running it in there. We're going to see another touchdown pass to Junior Vandeross, who's been outstanding, 116 yards on 8 catches. And then Eric Holly getting them on the scoreboard as well. And when you look at this first half, it was dominant by Tucker Gleason. You look at the numbers reflect that. And we are sort of on watch here for Tucker Gleason. I don't know how much he's going to play, but his career most yards passing in the game is 336 and 3 touchdowns, and he currently has 3 touchdown passes. So the next one will set a new career high, and he's just over the 100 from that. But in one half, Michael, 310 yards. Jason Candle's got to be looking for things to be unhappy with for his offense.
Well, you know that's significant for the other side, Joe Moorhead, and his defense probably discussing in a very strong manner. Homecoming, the homecoming king and queen at Glass Bowl Stadium. This is the Mid-American Conference on ESPN. Sights and sounds. Colorful, right? Yeah, it's a homecoming Saturday here at Glass Bowl Stadium and all the activity in and around the campus of the University of Toledo. Always terrific when the alums get to come back. You know, every year since 2014, the Bristol-Myers Squibb workforce has come together for a coast-to-coast charity bike ride. More than 100 riders relaying nearly 3,000 miles from Oregon out west all the way to the Jersey Shore in the east, right? The goal, got to raise $1 million for the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Kristen Krebs is a mom of 4 and a cancer survivor who rode her segment in the Colorado altitude with just 1 lung. Kristen, a real star, Toledo area local, University of Toledo alum. Way to go, Kristen. If you'd like to learn more about the ride or to make a donation, visit cancerbikeride.org.
Just to follow that up, Michael, that is truly impressive. For anybody who's been around, hung out in altitude, I was just in Albuquerque, New Mexico this week, and I got tired walking upstairs. So how Kristen biked at altitude with 1 lung is inspirational, to say the least.
That'll get your lungs burning, right? When you're
goodness.
Trying to do that. All right, here's Akron's drive chart. Had the football 6 times in the opening half. Punted it 4 times. Did have the TD, well, it was a field goal drive, not a touchdown drive. And then we hit halftime. Joe Moorhead, the veteran head football coach, having to go without his starting quarterback today, Ben Finley. Michael Johnson will put the football on running back Jordan Gant, who made the catch. Then we got back to the line of scrimmage is all, so it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10. So, you know, you wonder when, of course we don't know, but you wonder when Michael Johnson found out he was going to get to start today. Ryan, that always goes into play. How much time did he have to work with the ones that Akron offense? Did he get a practice with them? Quite honestly, we're not going to try to deceive you. We're not sure. As we found out virtually right near kickoff time that Ben Finley, the starting quarterback for Akron, wasn't going to go today. That run from Jordan Gant was able to get some positive yardage. There's a good look at Ben Finley, the 5th-year senior. There's Finley on the year. As you see, we talked a lot with Joe Moore this week. He wants to see that completion percentage get up around 60% for Ben Finley when he comes back. Boy, that throw in traffic from Michael Johnson found Marquise Williams, but Williams really got hit immediately as he pulled the football in, and that hit came. Was it McNeil Warren? Yeah, it was Emmanuel McNeil Warren, and he had some help from Luce Julian, who wears number 9, an outside linebacker.
Well, Johnson just thus far is now 6 for 12, less than 25 yards passing. The long was Dekayan Mason for 15, which means he's completed 5 passes for less than 10 yards outside of that completion to Mason.
Look at that punt from Akron's Braden Johnson. He hit a big one. It took that quick turn and went out of bounds at the 18-yard line. So it wasn't Braden Johnson, but it was his backup Joseph Castle that boomed that very strong punt. Turned field position over, if nothing else, for the Akron Zips. Akron is got the defensive unit out, and for Jason Candle and Toledo, it's John Allen Richter. Richter, the backup quarterback. He's a 225-pound junior out of the state of Georgia. Very similar to Tucker Gleason. First down carry. It's strong. 11 yards off the left side for Chip Trainum following the blocks again. But check that offensive line here as Toledo gets a football for the first time. It is the starting unit still on the football field on that O-line, Ryan, for Toledo.
And you see Trainum with that first down carry, and Van der Ross with another catch as he's still in the game.
So that throw from John Allen Richter hit Junior Van der Ross. Van der Ross continues his big day. John Allen Richter, very similar again to the starting quarterback, Tucker Gleason. As Toledo's going to put the football on the ground as Tucker Gleason. Pretty strong day, huh, Ryan? 15 to 16 for 232 and 3 touchdowns.
You know, I've never known how to figure out the quarterback rating, but his is pretty high on the day. Nearly perfect. And everything was going right for the Rockets. Gleason's having fun on the sidelines. Mainly the starters, just putting Richter in at quarterback.
Richter will fire that out route, and they'll hook up with Trayvon Rudolph. Rudolph is a senior, and again, you don't see this often, but I mean, he was a Northern Illinois Husky, so he transfers, gets in the portal, and stays in the MAC. From a Northern Illinois Husky now to a Toledo Rocket. All Rockets this afternoon here on this homecoming extravaganza at Glass Bowl Stadium. Richter is going to avoid pressure and use his legs to get near the midfield stripe. In fact, they're going to spot it right at the midfield stripe.
And Richter's down. He took a shot from Cyrus Durham. You know, it's the hits that you don't see coming, and Durham was chasing Richter, and as a defensive back came to address him, Durham hit him in the back. And that's a tough spot because John Allen Richter wasn't able to see it.
I see Jason Candle heading out on the football field as
for media.
He has his quarterback down right now at the midfield stripe. All right. Toledo with a huge lead in their first drive here in quarter number 3 when we come back. A lot of medical attention being applied now, actually right at the midfield stripe, to Toledo quarterback John Allen Richter, the junior out of the state of Georgia, who has come on here in the third quarter. He's the backup to Toledo's starting quarterback Tucker Gleason. Players on both sidelines on their knees, as the hope is for the very best for John Allen Richter. Let's take a look as Richter is trying to lower his body, and he got hit from behind and almost simultaneously took a shot up near the shoulder area in the front of his body as well. Akron Zips head football coach Joe Moorhead showing his concern with Jason Candle right to his right. Candle now moving out of our shot.
And Michael, during the break, as they were attending to Richter, the Akron Zips team was huddled, and Coach Moorhead is exactly where you see him right now, along with his medical training staff, standing by Richter. Obviously, Jason Candle concerned over his player, but there's a lot of respect that goes into this game on both sides, and both Jason Candle and Joe Moorhead talked about the professional respect that they have for each other. But the game is a little bit bigger than that. When you have an injury, it's respect for all the players and concern, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Well, it is. And Ryan, as we continue to show the concern on everyone's faces from both sidelines, if you've played this beautiful game of football, as we have, you know it's can be extremely precarious, as every time the football is snapped, you know, there are injury concerns that can happen and that have to be dealt with. But again, everybody that plays the game is in full understanding of that, but it always is a chilling moment when you see medics and the entire athletic medical staffs out on the football field, stretchers, just always the things. See, these are the things that you just don't want to see when you come to a football, whether you're a fan, whether you're, as we said, players on both sidelines. Because, Ryan, quite honestly, I mean, not because, again, you know for a second, well, that could be me. At any time, that could happen to me. And it brings scare and it brings fear, and, well, I can't think about that. It's not something I can think about. But as a human being, it's extremely difficult not to.
Yeah, well said, partner. There's risks associated with the game, and you accept those risks when you put the pads on and you decide to step in between the lines. But that doesn't mean that there isn't certain feelings on both sides, players, coaches, personnel, and the fans, as there is a silence that's fallen over the glass bowl while they take a look at, and a lot of thoughts going out towards Richter and his health right now.
Yeah, so again, if you're just joining us, we are unfortunately, an injury delay. The player down is Toledo's backup quarterback, John Allen Richter. He's a junior out of the state of Georgia. And, a moment ago, as he carried the football and trying to, again, you're looking to get a couple extra yards. He lowered his head, neck, shoulders down, and actually took two shots at different parts of his body as he ran the football. Jason Candle right there in the middle of your screen, the Toledo head coach. Let's take another look. So there's the shot from behind, and then it led to, again, Richter. It looked like, Ryan, the neck and the head and that area of his body that kind of had absorbed the roughest part of the collision. So John Allen Richter is on the stretcher. He'll be taken in an ambulance that is on the football field, of course, and then we will keep you up to date as soon as we get any information on the health and hopeful well-being of John Allen Richter.
Now you see the Toledo Rockets team coming from the sidelines to give their teammate. And you see the hand up from Richter, which is always a good sign.
As the Toledo Rockets football team heads back to their sideline, of course, the concern is for their quarterback, John Allen Richter, who took that shot a couple of minutes ago and now will be transported by ambulance to one of the very fine local hospitals here near Glass Bowl Stadium. And as we said, as soon as we get any information on his health and well-being after he gets to the hospital and gets attended to, we certainly will pass it along your way. So keep your thoughts and prayers in mind for John Allen Richter. So now it's, head coach football is going to go on here, and head coach Jason Candle has to make a decision. Is he going to go back to his starter, Tucker Gleason, or Ryan? Their third quarterback is a young redshirt freshman out of Pontiac, Michigan, Caleb Osborne, who has played a bit, limited, of course, this year. So we'll see as we take a look whether it's Gleason coming back or, yeah, it is Tucker Gleason, the starter. So again, maybe in this type of situation, Jason Candle deciding I don't want to put Caleb Osborne in the football game right now. So the starter, Tucker Gleason, is back as we now clock moves and we're back in play as Chip Trainum on that carry. That hit from Julian LaVenture. Where's that number 1 as a defensive tackle for the Akron Zip. So we'll see how Jason Candle plays this the rest of the way. For right now, he went back to his starting quarterback, Tucker Gleason. Toledo has this rather healthy 35-3 lead here. Still early third quarter. Gleason will throw that out route. What a terrific grab momentarily, but then knocked away of the football was Trayvon Rudolph. Terrence Thomas off the corner. Watch Thomas, wears number 15 with that big hit right there. So that's going to bring up 4th and 8, and Jason Candle is going to get his punt team on the football field to punt it away. In that Akron deep spot, fair catching at now letting that football head over his head into the end zone. All right, so Akron's going to get the football back now here in the third quarter, trailing 35-3.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Look at Joe Moorhead, the head football coach, that has really done a fine job in looking to get his Akron Zips back to Mid-American Conference contention. Got the football again here, and their quarterback, Michael Johnson Jr. He's the backup to Ben Finley. He has gone the whole route today, and it has been a tough day for Akron to generate much offense. And Jordan Gann, a terrific running back, who is the reigning MAC Offensive Player of the Week after he ran for 161 yards and 3 touchdowns in the blitzing of Duquesne last week. Just not a lot of room to roll against this suffocating Toledo D.
And speaking of blitzing, that was Andre Fuller, the cornerback, who got into the backfield and shut Gant down for 0 gain.
Johnson will fire that quick out, and he was able to hook up with Cameron Montero. So Montero made the grab. Short gain there. It's going to bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 3.
Montero's come in and made some plays this afternoon. Clearly somebody that Coach Moorhead wants to target and get the football to.
Jordan Gant and that one back to the left of Johnson. Johnson, just not a lot there. Looked to keep the football, and he got knocked down quickly. And on those Toledo defensive hits on that front group was Eshawn Carter, the young man from just up I-75 to the north. Very fine Martin Luther King program in the city of Detroit. And Joseph Castles on the football field. He's going to punt it away again for Akron as we approach the 8-minute mark in his 3rd quarter. Great to have you along today here on ESPN. It's been all Toledo's Rockets on this homecoming Saturday. Hanging that boot high, and it's going to be a fair caught by Toledo's Bryson Hammer. All right, let's go back to 2017, shall we? MAC championship game, Ford Field, Motor City of Detroit. Logan Woodside, he had a big day. Toledo QB, 300 yards, 4 TDs. Akron found the end zone 4 times, but not enough to win it. Toledo 254 yards rushing, and they won their 11th MAC championship, first one since 2004. Toledo with a 45-28 win over the Akron Zips. And that again from 2017. First down carry for the Toledo Rockets is Kenji Christian on the call. Probably, I would think, Ryan, midway through the 3rd quarter. Large lead for Toledo. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of the backups. Although that again, well, Kenji Christian, the young man who transferred in from North Carolina A&T, he's down, and that's not a good look because he was holding in the area of his right knee.
I think they're looking at his hand, Michael. Not to speculate, but yeah, he put it behind his head. And you know, speaking of that, Chip Trainum last year at Kentucky. And there's Chip. He was a running back at Arizona State.
Yep.
He transferred to Ohio State where they played him at linebacker.
Right.
Then, due to injuries, depletion of the running back room, Chip moves to running back. He wasn't sure where he fit in. He moves to Kentucky, has a hand injury at the beginning of last year, and he was in the best shape of his life. He just couldn't hold on to the football due to the hand injury. Ends up at Toledo. Now, what's interesting about that is that Toledo, and Jason Candle was recruiting Chip Trainum out of Archbishop Hoban High School in Cleveland, And they were the first and really the only that saw Chip train him as a running back. Everybody else wanted him at linebacker. Later on, Arizona State says, okay, we'd love to have you. We'll put you at running back. But it's just serendipitous that Chip Trainum could potentially end his collegiate career at Toledo playing running back, where he was originally recruited and the position he was recruited at.
So Tucker Gleason in at the quarterback spot, and no room there for Chip Trainum as he got knocked down quickly. So Arizona State for Trainum, Sun Devil back 5 years ago. Then an Ohio State Buckeye, 22 and 23. And a Kentucky Wildcat last year. And now here, of course, as a Toledo Rocket. So there's the football life travels of Chip Trainum.
No, I know I said he was in the best shape of his life in Kentucky, but I think it's carried over because Chip Trainum looks rocked up. Looks like he's put the time in the weight room. Clearly on the field as well, because he looks excellent running the football.
Gleason delivers the quick out. Hauled in, making the grab was Trayvon Rudolph, but an excellent tackle out of that secondary of Akron, as that's My Branch made the hit. Good stop for Branch.
Michael, continuing on with Trainum, they call him a 3-down back. Look at the blitz pickup by Chip Trainum. Beautiful job, and this week, Coach Jason Candle said he's a 3-down back. He can pass protect, he can catch the football, and in college football, even in the pros, it's hard to find a guy like this that can play in passing downs, running downs, etc.
Yep, Toledo will boot the football away. Going to take a big hop. A favorable Rockets tail dragging roll. 22-yard line is where Akron will take over. We're inside 6 minutes left, quarter number 3. Toledo's got a healthy 32-point lead.
Timeout for media.
All Toledo's Rockets. There's our outstanding defensive coordinator, Vince Karras. And defense has been big time for Toledo today, Ryan Kavanaugh.
They pride themselves on getting after the quarterback, being stout up front against the run, and see Jeremiah Peters there. A number of Rockets were in the backfield and just harassing Michael Johnson Jr. all night, and when he would get rid of the football, still a number of blue jerseys all over the Zips ball carriers.
We've got our another quarterback in for the Akron Zips. That's Braden Ruggo. Ruggo is a redshirt freshman out of Columbian High School in nearby Tiffin. Actually a little bit closer here to Toledo than it is Akron, but a northern Ohio high school. Now they're going to check and see if Ruggo's throw was caught in a catch inbounds. Well, I don't know. It's going to be close. As that throw to Israel Polk. Now watch the back of Polk's left foot. Is that inbounds or on the out of bounds white?
You know, that's not the greatest angle, but I would say that this is going to be a good angle. I think he's out of bounds. I think the heel crosses that line. Tough to tell, though. While they're looking at that, we could talk a little bit more about Braden Ruggo. 4-year starter at Tiffin Columbian.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down.
4-year starter in high school, 86 career touchdowns, which is 19th most in Ohio High School Athletic Association history. Guy can sling it. He has a twin brother, Bryce, who obviously isn't a quarterback because, you know, they're on the same team. But Bryce was a wide receiver, and he still is, playing at Tiffin University. And Braden, his mom, is here in attendance today. As you said, short jaunt.
Yep.
From Tiffin, Ohio to Toledo, Ohio. The Dragons.
That's
of
right.
Tiffin
Dragons. Pretty good program. It's Marquise Williams on the Akron carry. Williams, the 180-pound redshirt sophomore, started his college career at Minnesota.
Some good games
well,
tonight.
I tell you, Ryan, it's just one of those football games. I mean, you hate to see it. It's almost like now in a game that's one-sided, virtually every whistle, every stoppage of play, unfortunately, someone gets banged up or hurt. So hopefully we've had all of that for this particular day. We're inside 5 minutes left in this third quarter. Stay on the ground will the Akron Zips with Marquise Williams. And Joe Moorhead told us he'd like to incorporate Williams' game more because he's the speediest and brings the best just straight line speed to the running back room.
We've got Cam Macon in the backfield. Speaking of Ohio colleges, transfer from Walsh University near the Columbus area. But you mentioned Marquise Williams. When we look at this running back room, Sean Patrick, who we saw week 1 against Wyoming and was a real difference maker, Reg. He's not playing. Marquise Williams, who we just saw. Marquise Williams is similar to Sean Patrick, and I think Cam Macon is more similar to Jordan Gant. A bigger, more one-step, get-upfield type back. So I think that might be Luke Reed in the backfield now. It is.
Where number 28, Ruggo's got that throw on Reed, who made the catch. Reed is a redshirt freshman, Benedictine High School, a very strong Cleveland area high school program. So Luke Reed, that's his first catch of the year for Joe Moorhead's offense.
They are rotating the running backs liberally here, Michael.
As well they should.
Right.
You know, coaches will always say this is when they find out, you know, usually in there, who wants to play and who wants to continue to compete, play tough. Back to the ground game there. And that first down carry. Was that Marquise Williams or was it Cam Macon? So Williams wears 24. Macon wears 34. And both of their jerseys are riding up their backs.
What you're saying is they're not doing you any favors, partner.
No excuses.
No, it's
got to play through it. Got to play through it, right?
That's right.
All right, this is fourth down. Fourth down to couple, and of course, Akron will leave the offense on the football field. Ruggo to throw the out. It is caught. Now, it depends on that spot. And that field judge says, yeah, let's move the sticks, as that was caught. It was Israel Polk on the grab for the Akron Zips.
Yeah, it's right at the sticks, and Polk runs a little snag route. You see him come in as if he's running the slant, goes back out, nice ball. Look at Ruggo. He's still playing. He wants.
Back to the ground
Fumble.
game, and the football came out as Cam Macon, the junior running back out of Barberton, Ohio, and Walsh College, lost the football. Toledo has come up with yet another forced fumble that creates a turnover for their defense.
Yeah, well, Braden Alls came in and knocked the ball loose. You're going to see Nasir Bowers fall on top of it. But what a hit by Braden Alls on Cam Macon. Alls $196, and Macon is all of 220. Taking on the larger man.
Yeah, we've seen Braden Alls enough. This young man is a hitter. Boy, off that play fake, keeping the football, running the football is Tucker Gleason. So as we told you, the last series, because of the very unfortunate injury to John Allen Richter, who is in a Toledo area hospital, by the way. 34 yards on that RPO, that run pass option game for quarterback Tucker Gleason. As we've come inside, 2 minutes left here at quarter number 3. This is running back Connor Wallenczak on the carry. Wallenczak. Second down, and rather on that first down snap, he got about 7. We'll call it 2nd and 3.
Wallenczak came into this game with 10 carries on the season, but last year got some time as well at running back. Been in the program for 3 years now.
Team guy, real strong team guy, right?
Yeah, local guy too, Perrysburg.
Yep.
Not very far from here.
Connor Wallenczak. 208-pound junior. Got the football again. Not much there that time, as that Akron front four closed that down, and for the Zips to make that stop on that front four. Kawan Murphy was in on it, so was Javon Frazier. We're going to come inside 30 seconds here in the third quarter on this next Toledo snap. Third down and 3. Play clock at 5. Gleason on that roll right. Boy, he's in a lot of trouble, and that throw is incomplete. Good pressure once again as Akron getting after the quarterback, Shaman Cooper. Watch Cooper. Where's that number 7? He's a real good-looking linebacker. Played at Illinois before Joe Moorhead brought him into Akron. 41-yard field goal attempt straight on the uprights here for Dylan Cunanan, the sophomore out of Phoenix, Arizona. From 41 yards, a lot of leg. He hit it. Dylan Cunanan puts 3 more on the board. for Toledo's Rockets. Toledo with a 38-3 lead when we come back to Glass Bowl Stadium. Well, evidently we're going to wait until the third quarter expires with just 12 seconds left.
Those are good reps for Cunanan. 41-yard field goal is not easy. You get to do it in practice all the time, but you want to do it in a game environment. The operation of the entire extra point, or field goal rather, looked good for Jason Candle's team. And it was, I mean, he drilled that right down the middle for Cunanan. It'll be interesting to see how long Coach Candle decides to keep Tucker Gleason in the game. You know, sometimes you wonder if it's a red shirt situation. Although Caleb Osborne already redshirted, so I take that back.
Right, he has.
But he is 4 for 6 on the season. And the last thing you want to do is have your starting quarterback, Tucker Gleason, playing too long and something happening to him.
Yeah, you got to have that in consideration. But this has been a day as that boot to the goal line is going to be brought out for the Akron Zips on that Akron return. Looked like it was Brandon Hills. Here's Tucker Gleason's day's work.
Nice job throwing the ball. And they were able to, something different between Toledo's passing game and Akron's is that they were able to drive the football downfield. You know, Gleason was able to take some shots deep, as we see here, getting it to Vanderos for one of his touchdowns. But when you can do that, when you're not just throwing short and intermediate routes, that creates issues for the defense. It pulls them out of the running lanes. It makes them respect you, and they have to play a little deeper. Those are pretty good numbers, 16 and 19. Very accurate, Tucker Gleason.
Yeah, real exceptional day. Ooh, that had pick 6 written all over it as that throw almost picked off out of that Akron second at the Toledo secondary by Avery Smith.
Well, you mentioned earlier Andre Fuller and the praise that the Toledo coaches were laying on him. A reason why is because Andre Fuller's getting all the attention. Nobody throws at number 4. Nobody wants to throw at Avery Smith. He's that sort of, I call it Deion Sanders lockdown corner, and you don't develop the stats because you don't get the opportunities, because defenses know not a good choice to throw at Avery Smith, and he almost just showed him why right there with the terrific break on the football.
That's going to end the third quarter after Miles Walker, the Akron receiver, hauled in that quick out. 15 minutes left of this football game. It is all Toledo after 3 quarters. All right, let's take a look at the Mid-American Conference scoreboard. Those two at the top left have the biggest importance. Ohio at home, Peden Stadium in Athens. 15-point win over Bowling Green, that's final. And Central Michigan in the Battle of the Wolverine State beat Eastern Michigan 24-13. Everything else, the others, 3 of them going on, Rhode Island, Western Michigan, UMass, Missouri, still to come tonight. Right here, all Toledo's Rockets here as taking that shot to begin this particular drive. And quarter number 4 is Akron quarterback Braden Ruggo. And we got an offensive lineman for Akron down on that deep ball that Ruggo tried to connect with. Can't see who that is just as yet. First snap of quarter number 4. Glad to have all of you along. We appreciate your viewership today. Our producer Joe Nicola today. Sydney Boxell is our director. John Malkowski, our stats guru up here in the booth. Chuck Allen, always in operations, doing a terrific job. Ryan and all of our ESPN crew. Appreciate all your hard work. Gentlemen and ladies, Ryan Kavanaugh is here. I'm Michael Regai as we see Akron's offensive lineman, and I think, was that Masai King? Yeah, it was Masai King who is walking off, and the Akron Zips are going to punt the football away. Hanging that high and at the 27-yard line. Strong return for Bryson Hammer. Hammer is really starting to grow by leaps and bounds as an excellent return man for Jason Candle and Akron. 28 yards here, Ryan Kavanaugh, as he weaved in and out of special team traffic.
Yeah, look at how much space he has, though, to return this football. I don't know if that's due to it being a shorter punt. And Marcus Boswell, 44, right there, going up top. True freshman out of Texas, makes the hit. He's back in now at linebacker. They're going with Melvin Spriggs and Marcus Boswell at the linebacker spots.
Well, and now we see Caleb Osborne on the football field. He is, by depth chart, the 3rd quarterback in Jason Candle's offensive repertoire. Young man from Waterford Mott High School in Pontiac, Michigan. Got 17 there. Caleb Osborne, 6'3", 205-pound redshirt freshman, 2nd year in this Toledo Rockets program. Good size.
Yeah, he's a
Right now,
prospect.
pardon me, buddy, but right now more legs than anything else as he kind of tries to assimilate with the pass game at a college level. But so the legs are his prime order of skills right now.
That's right. Yeah, but you know, the good thing about coming to a program like Toledo that is so established is you have an opportunity to grow under quarterbacks like Tucker Gleason, John Allen, Richter, and develop. So you're not being thrown into the wolves and thrown in the fire right away.
Try to cut back Connor Wallenczak. He's a local guy, Perrysburg High School, Perrysburg, Ohio, which I don't know, about 5 to 7 miles away from the Glass Bowl. Here's the Crow Flies in Northwest Ohio.
So he's got a bunch of the rubber pellets from the new turf that we talked about at halftime here at the Glass Bowl.
Caleb Osborne quarterbacking Jason Candle's football team. Wants to put it up. A lot of green. Osborne inside the 10, inside the 5, touchdown. Caleb Osborne, his 2nd touchdown of the year, 21 yards to the house.
Great job by Osborne, just taking what the defense gives him. Everybody had vacated the left side other than linebacker Marcus Boswell. He's 230. He was not going to catch Caleb Osborne, and Osborne weaves his way into the end zone.
Dylan Cunanan will add that PAT. Toledo Rockets have been terrific today. Quite honestly, did not expect this type of football game against Joe Moorhead's Akron Zips. We'll tell you more when we come back after the Caleb Osborne Toledo Rockets touchdown. That's only 4 months away. I guess not as long as you think, as college football seasons. To me, Ryan, they roll rather quickly through a 12-game regular season for D1 FBS squads, and then the playoff format, of course. Solid return for the Akron Zips is coming out over the 40-yard line from near his goal line. It was Brandon Hills. This one started rolling for Toledo with Junior Vandeross in the opening half.
Literally from the first offensive snap. After a huge kick return, Vandeross scores. Chip Trainum continues his hot hand at running back, and Tucker Gleason did a little bit of everything, including dancing. There's another pass. It was 2 for Vandeross on the afternoon. It was a complete offensive performance for the Rockets. And I know we're showing highlights. We've talked about the defense. These are offensive highlights. But remember, this is a defense that has been so good and held Akron to under 70 yards of total offense in the first half. So I'd be remiss if we didn't give Vince Karras and the Rockets defense some love.
Trevion Ford, that's 40, wears number 99 for Toledo, 250-pound junior. Started his career at Missouri. Jason Candle got him out of the transfer portal. He just took down Akron running back. You see, Jordan Gann has stayed in this football game quite a while. Marquise Williams Ruggo with that throw out of bounds. Going to bring up now 3rd down and long. There are still 12 minutes and a couple of ticks left to play in this one. It's long since been decided. So young men that normally don't see a lot of game time getting an opportunity today. 3rd and 12 for Akron. Akron starting quarterback Ben Finley did not go today. Wasn't able to make the start. Michael Johnson started. Now it's Braden Ruggo, and he'll deliver the out. Tim Greer made the grab. There's Greer. Where's that number 4? Young man from New Orleans, but well short of the first down sticks, as Akron is going to get the punt team on the football field. So not at all what head coach Joe Moorhead and his Akron Zips expected today. They felt in the last couple of weeks they really started to play much better football. Tight loss by 3 at UAB, and then of course the big win over Duquesne last week. Fair catch right at the 15-yard line from Toledo's Bryson Hammer. All right, we'll come back and tell you more. Toledo's got a 45-3 lead. Good look at Joe Moorhead, the head football coach. Better things, a lot better things going on with his Akron Zips program. Here's his son, senior high school quarterback at Hawkins School, just outside of the city of Cleveland, Donovan Moorhead. And Ryan Cavanaugh is going to play his college football at Jacksonville State.
Yeah, young Donovan's got his Hawkins football team off to a 5-1 start. You know, Joe Moorhead played at Fordham.
He did. But what's up, Coach Moorhead? You couldn't get your son to stay at home, hang out with you for a few more years?
I think he said, I've coached him my whole life.
I'm teasing. Yeah. No, I got you.
But you know what's interesting in those clips? That was at the indoor facility. Brad Mandler, who is one of the top quarterback coaches in the Cleveland area. He's the personal coach of Donovan Moorhead, who we just showed. He also coaches Drew Aller. We know who that is.
Yep.
Ethan Grunkelmeyer, who's Drew Aller's backup. Ryan Montgomery, who's at Georgia. And also Braden Ruggo. So Brad Mandler has a lot of the tentacles of expert quarterback coaching, and I know
this man knows quarterbacks and he knows offensive football.
Oh, man.
Make no mistake about that.
he was a big-time quarterback at Fordham. A lot of success.
Well, I liked his coaching career stops. I mean, you're talking Oregon, you're talking Penn State, OC, at both of those stops.
Mississippi State.
Head coach there, but yeah.
Well, you know, talking to him this week, Coach Moorhead commented on everywhere he's been when he's been really successful, they've had a really good running attack.
Right.
And, you know, certainly last week and the week prior to that against UAB, they started to develop that. And that has a lot to do with their offensive line, but it also has to do with their quarterback. So today was a tough situation for them to continue on that path because they were somewhat one-dimensional without Ben Finley back there.
Right. Willie Shaw, the third, is the fourth running back to carry the football today. Is that throw from Caleb Osborne incomplete as he couldn't hook up with wideout Julian Allen.
Osborne's got a live wire back there. That was a cannon shot. And it's in my previous comments. It's you know, Michael Johnson was put into a tough situation virtually on the field saying you're going to start. You don't get the week of prep as the starting quarterback.
And that's the main thing. We both know. But when you don't know you're going to start, when you're getting all the backup reps, which Ryan is usually about 10% of what an offense works during the course of the week. Osborne to load it up. Good ball as he hooked up and made that throw and was able to connect with, I think that's Tashi Braceful, right? Yeah, Braceful. He's a redshirt freshman out of Southfield, Michigan for 37 yards. So Tashi Braceful. Folks, right now, Ryan and I always have very extensive our player charts, and usually they go, well, they always go at every position 3 deep, sometimes 4, but Willie Shaw on that carry. But the young man who just made that catch a moment ago for the Toledo Rockets, the wide receiver, Taji Braceful. Ryan Cavanaugh, he's not on our charts. So that's 4 players deep at each wide receiver position. So Jason Candle getting a whole lot of young Rockets on the football field now. Eight Rockets have had a reception today. That first down carry, is that Mike Drennan? Yeah. So there's another young man out of Dublin Kaufman, a transfer from Kentucky, and it's only the 4th carry of the year for Mike Drennan. So probably, being honest about it, probably the 4th team running back, maybe 5th. But a lot of playing time, valuable playing time, is Jason Candle getting a lot of his young Rockets here today. Caleb Osborne in trouble, and down he goes. Sack time for the Akron Zips, is making that hit for Akron off that defensive line is Madden.
They brought Alex Branch. You see him on the left, number 3 coming in. Madden coming up the middle. Dimitri Madden. You see Cyrus.
From England, isn't he? Young man from England, London, England.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is 4th down, and it's going to be a 50-yard field goal. It might officially be 51 for Dylan Cunanan. Out of the hold of Emilio Duran. Does he have enough leg? No, it missed wide right, just off to that right upright. All right, we'll take a timeout. 6:49 left. The final decision nowhere in jeopardy still. All Toledo on this homecoming afternoon. All those who wear the midnight blue and gold, oh yeah, they're getting in those sweet-looking rides. Homecoming parade today, all along Bancroft Street and the campus of the University of Toledo, where their football Rockets have done a terrific job through 3 quarters plus and on their way to what is going to be their 3rd win of the season against 2 losses with this win today.
For Toledo, this is what they needed here to bounce back after last week, which can only be described as a disappointing loss.
Very.
To Western Michigan. Coach Candle talked about it with us this week, about the opportunities left on the table. Beautiful catch.
Yeah, Ruggo's throw is hauled in, and making that grab, Marcel Williams for the Akron Zips. Toledo Rockets usually are very dominant and difficult to beat here at home. I guess those numbers depict that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is some solid work from Coach Candle and his players and the rest of his staff.
Yeah, well, that goes back years and years at Toledo, the way they played at home. Cam Macon on that carry, maybe got 1. We'll call it 2nd and 9 as we're closing in on 5.5 minutes left. So Toledo's going to go to 3-2 on the year. And for the Rockets, this is going to be their first MAC win of the year after that, as we've said a few times, real tough loss last week at Western Michigan. Hauling in that throw is Miles Walker for Akron. Walker making the grab. That's what Toledo has coming up. Of course, they Ryan, they get a week off right before that trip down I-75 to play against their longtime rivals, the Bowling Green Falcons.
When we just saw Coach Karras and Coach Candle, and all that means is they have another week to prep and prepare for their rivals.
Yeah, that's right. Bowling Green coming off that loss today at Ohio. Well, there's a shot on delivery, as taking that hit was Braden Ruggo. He got popped here. Watch this pressure from the outside.
Just coming right off the edge. I think that's Jeremiah Peters. It is. He's already has a sack today. Peters is not the biggest guy. And what I mean is he's 6'4", 226, playing a defensive end. It looks like he doesn't even wear shoulder pads. I noticed that earlier. He's got like punter or wide receiver shoulder pads on, but he's got extreme quickness off the edge. So 1 sack today. That certainly was an impact play. Suppose it's called a quarterback hurry, but Peters is a impressive young man and adds a different dynamic to the pass rush game for the Rockets.
Joseph Castle for Akron hung that punt high. The fair catch from Bryson Hammer. Joe Morton as Zips. Here's what they got coming up. Next 5, and Ryan, these 2 are going to 2 in a row at home at Infocision Stadium. Central Michigan comes in. That's where I'll be next week, with Central Michigan at Akron. And then Chuck Martin brings his Miami Redhawks in to tango with the Akron Zips on October 11th. So Toledo starts from their 15-yard line, going to run the football. Strong burst from Willie Shaw. Shaw, again, we've second carry. Young man out of Chicago, played at Brother Rice High School in the Windy City. Has really been relegated now. He's behind Chip Trainum and Kenji Christian and Connor Wallensack in the Toledo running back room.
Well, as we've seen today and in other games, that rotation can quickly change. Not today, but you never know when somebody goes down or you show flashes. Jordan Gant from Akron is a good example. You know, didn't get a whole lot of run. Now some of that was due to injury in the first few games, and now he's a go-to guy.
Shaw fought out of a tackle, got a couple yards there before he was thrown down by that Akron defense. That looked to be Malcolm DeWalt on the throwdown, the tackle. DeWalt had a pick 6, by the way, in that Akron win over Duquesne. 2nd and 6 now, as we are coming up to just 3 minutes left in this football game.
He's kind of a quarterback keeper here.
Keeping the football again, yes, is Toledo quarterback Caleb Osborne.
That's going to move the chains, though. Fresh set of downs for Toledo, and I imagine as we get near 3 minutes, if Jason Candle can squeeze all the time out of this clock on the ground, he'll do that. You see how patient they're being in the huddle. No rush to snap the football.
Stay on the ground and working off that left side for a couple of yards for Toledo Rockets. Mike Drennan. Drennan, he transferred in from the Kentucky Wildcat program. We're going to hit that 2-minute timeout before we have another snap as Toledo's offense heading over to their sideline. 2 minutes left in the football game as Toledo is going to come up with their first MAC win of the year. We'll be right back to finish it out at Glass Bowl Stadium. Four games involving Mid-American Conference squads on ESPN Plus next week. Western Michigan goes to UMass, Eastern Michigan to Buffalo. As I said, I'll be in Akron with these Zips where Central Michigan comes to town, and Miami's Redhawks go to Northern Illinois. Toledo keep the football on the ground and still running strong. Mike Drennan.
You know, I was just thinking, Michael, maybe I'll join you in Akron for the Central game. What do you think?
Are you there with me?
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm sorry. I wasn't aware that you didn't tell me that was your assignment.
I know. I was going to surprise you when you show up on game
man,
day.
That's cool. That's cool. You know, man, you're always welcome with me.
Appreciate it.
Of course. So we'll see if Toledo doesn't snap this football until inside 5, although nope, that ain't gonna happen. As on the run and keeping the football for the Rockets, as on that quarterback carry. Now Toledo's got, is that Jake DeHaan in?
Sure is.
Jake DeHaan. Got to tell you, Ryan, it's the first time we've seen this sophomore with playing time for Jason Candle's Rockets.
He's having fun. The sidelines is having fun. Coach Candle's having fun. He's just, you know, as a head coach, kind of got to keep it.
Stay on the ground, as that's Mike Drennan on the carry again. So I don't know, that should be the last snap. Toledo, yeah, they don't have to snap it again. They're not going to snap it again. So it's going to go in the books as the largest Toledo Rockets winning margin of victory against a MAC opponent going back to 2015. So 10 years ago, as Joe Moorhead and Jason Candle, the two head coaches, congratulate one another. So the Toledo Rockets, they started out with a couple of touchdowns on their first 2 drives, Ryan Kavanaugh, and rolled today to a 45-3 win over the Akron Zips.
Yeah, it's a very complete performance for the Rockets. And they righted the ship after last week's loss, sending a message to the rest of the MAC that we are still, there's a reason why everybody picked us as the #1 team in this conference. We're still here. And for Akron, you know, faced some difficulties without having Sean Patrick, without having Ben Finley, but they've got a chance to regroup next week.
Yeah, they do. Very decisive today. All right, 45-3. Toledo puts it in the win column. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. That's going to do it for us. Our crew was terrific today. For our producer, Joe Nicola, our director, Sidney Boxell, John Malkowski, who handled all of our statistical work, and Chuck Allen. For my partner, Ryan Kavanaugh, I'm Michael Regai. Hope you enjoyed it today. It's a final in Toledo. 45-3. Toledo beats Akron. We'll see you in Akron next week, everybody. Till then, so long.